So animals that live in tide pools are going to be especially affected by this idea of osmosis because they are going to be trapped in these tide pools, and when the tide is up, when the tide is high, the salinity in that tide pool is going to be whatever salinity is the local salinity, or we're going to say the average ocean salinity, which is 35 parts per thousand. And so when the tide is high and it's 35 parts per thousand, we're going to say that that's isotonic to the animals that live in the tide pool. So they're going to be isotonic to the seawater. So the water will be moving in and out of their cells equally. So we'll say they have 35 parts per thousand salts, and the water in the pool also has 35 parts per thousand salts. When the tide first goes out, okay, and the water is trapped in that tide pool, the water is going to start off being isotonic to the animals that are there. But a couple of things can happen. So if the tide goes out and it's a very sunny day, that day when the tide is out, some of that water that is trapped in the tide pools can be evaporated. So it can evaporate out and leave the salts behind. And when that happens, the water will become hypertonic to the animal, okay? Because some of the water will go away. So you can see that where we say the animal still has 35 parts per thousand salts, but the pool is going to have 40 parts per thousand salts. So it'll have 40 parts per thousand salts. That now means that there's more salt outside of the animal than inside, and the water is going to tend to leave the animal cells to try and dilute the salt that's in the tide pool, and so the animal will tend to become dehydrated when you have a sunny day and the water leaves the tide pools. Conversely, on a rainy day, so when the tide goes out, starts isotonic, it's raining, the animal is going to start off being 35 parts per thousand. The water will be 35 parts per thousand. But as it rains, rain adds fresh water to the pool. And so the salinity will go down. So it'll go from being 35 parts per thousand to 30 parts per thousand. And so now it's in a hypotonic solution, which means that the water will come into the cells of the animal and can actually cause those cells to swell and maybe even burst. In fact, one of the reasons why, if you ever go to the beach right after it rains, that's one of the reasons why you'll find a lot of dead animals on shore is because of this, because the fresh water actually killed them because of this idea of osmosis. So it's important that you understand this concept, because throughout the rest of this course, we're going to be referring to hypo and hypertonic solutions. And so if you don't understand something, please either email your instructor or contact them in some way for more help.